And welcome to the news at 6. I'm Doug Petcash. Attorneys continue to narrow down the jury pool in Lori Vallow's murder trial. The trial is happening in Ada County for the next 2 months. The Rexburg mom is charged with murder, conspiracy, and grand theft related to the deaths of 2 of her kids and her husband's late wife. We've had crews at the courthouse all week, including my co-anchor, Morgan Romero. Morgan's live there now outside the courthouse. What happened in day 3, Morgan?
Doug, as we've been talking about for the past few days, attorneys have to get to 42 potential jurors in this phase of jury selection known as voir dire before moving on to the next phase of jury selection. They weren't able to hit that number today. They ended the day with 39 potential jurors. They still have 3 more they have to choose from. We actually anticipated yesterday that they could get to that point today, but it proved more challenging. A lot of jurors being dismissed due to hardships in their lives, as well as pre-trial media publicity. You've heard us talk about that a lot with the Netflix documentaries out there, Dateline, national news, local news. So we do expect to get to that 42 number tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning. Once the prosecution and defense question all 42 people, they'll narrow that pool down to their final 18 to serve in this case. 12 jurors, 6 alternates. We're going to show you more sketches from court today. You can see Vallow Daybell wearing a turtleneck and glasses. In this drawing, you actually see her wiping her eyes or glasses. More than anything, this process is about eliminating people the prosecution and defense attorneys do not want on the jury they select. Of course, they haven't agreed on every juror. All week, attorneys question jurors in groups as well as individually, those individual sessions mostly focusing on what they knew about the case beforehand. They've asked the judge to dismiss dozens for hardships like work, life, and family, and others for cause, believing they could have a bias about the case. The judge said it's fine if people watch or read the news, but it's a challenge in this case with, again, so many people knowing about it ahead of time. Again, as they've been asking all week, attorneys asked jurors whether they knew Vallow Daybell or anyone connected to the case had any opinions about Vallow's guilt or innocence, if and what they knew about the case before, and if they could convict someone based on something called circumstantial evidence. After they get 42 potential jurors, each side gets 12 peremptory strikes. That means they can excuse people without saying why, essentially dismissing jurors without explaining why, because they really don't want them on their side. They don't think it'll help their case. So even though we didn't get to that 42 number today, it is still possible that we could get to opening statements by Friday. At that point, those go pretty quickly, and after that, evidence is then presented, but we are still a few days out from that. Doug?
Morgan, any idea how long that process would take to get from the 42 to the 18?
Yeah, that's really unknown. It's at the discretion of the attorneys and how long it takes them to question those folks. It's at the discretion of the judge. It could just take all day tomorrow or a few hours tomorrow. It really remains to be seen. There are still a lot of unknowns at this point. I do want to mention, though, something we mentioned last night in case it's confusing to our viewers. The sketch artist is sketching from inside the room where we are, the overflow room. That's closed to the public. We're going to be allowed in the courtroom once the trial starts, but they don't want anybody seeing jurors, including the sketch artist, at this point in the process until those jurors are chosen.
All right. It's been really interesting to see how this whole process, the court system, actually plays out, too. So specifically, Morgan, thank you.